Hi, I'm Naz. I'm the CEO and founder of Rebel and the author of Developer Life and the maintainer of the Rebel 2e crates. I believe that open source comes from an open heart and from the joy of coding. In today's video, we're going to do something a little bit different. It is going to be live coding, but AI is all the rage, and I actually recently discovered Claude Code, which has ended up becoming an indispensable coding buddy for me. So it's absolutely incredible. I mean, it's not a video about Claude Code per se, but how to use Claude Code to make Rust development workflows better. So whether that's creating design documents or actually the design document things and those workflow things, it's a matter of personal taste. But in today's video, I want to show something very concrete, which is how to use Claude Code with MCP tools like Rust Analyzer, and use it with other cargo tools like Flamegraph and Inferno, and cargo benchmarks, cargo bench, to basically see how a piece of code is performing and how we can identify hotspots. And this is not necessarily about memory pressure, but more about CPU utilization and like what are the effective strategies, like how do you set up let's say I'm going to be using Linux in this video, but like how do you set up Linux so that you're doing the correct, getting the correct telemetry from the kernel? How do you configure your cargo toml so that you have the correct profiler settings? And also like how do you actually generate and analyze the flame graph itself? And there's quite a bit of tooling that goes along with it, but I won't be going into the specifics of how that's done because there's nothing interesting there. It's just I've actually got it up and running in the where is it? In the where is this Rebel? In the Rebel Open core repo. So I'll be referencing this in this video. So if you want to get started, if you want to follow along, first thing I would recommend doing is that just and I'll put a link to this. By the way, this whole video is the feedback and comments of the video. The comments for the video are disabled, but you could use this GitHub issue to write comments. And I'm going to post a link to this issue along with this repo in the description of this video. So to follow along, I would recommend just cloning this repo, bringing it down to your local computer, and then we can get started. And I'll walk you through all the steps after that. Okay, so we're going to follow along with this issue, and the first thing that we need to do is set up Claude Code if you haven't already. So let me do that. So in the repo that I'm using, the Rebel Open Core repo, a lot of the tool configuration you'll find in a bunch of scripts in the root of this root directory of this mono repo. It's a Rust workspace. So one of them is this bootstrap shell script, and the other one is a run.nu shell script. And the reason I don't use bash everywhere is because with new shell, it has some niceties. The scripting language looks like Rust, and kinda like a rusty Python. And it has some really nice things, like you can do fuzzy finding. You can basically ask the user for input and do fuzzy finding based on what they type in to match against some list that you're matching against. So it makes it easy to basically, like, for example, if you want to let's say you want to run an example and you want to allow the user to choose an example. So this just makes it like a one-liner to do that. So that's why there's a bunch of there's only one run.nu and one bootstrap, and these have all the tooling and configuration. So we're going to be hovering around these two files quite a bit today. And then there's another one called scriptlib.nu, which is just used by run.nu. I didn't want to put all the functions in this one file. And this one is all the Flamegraph and the Inferno stuff. And then of course there's cargo toml, which we'll look at, which has a lot of the profile settings, so that cargo knows when I'm using Flamegraph, I can actually specify a profile for a cargo to use. It's pretty awesome. Rust toolchain is absolutely incredible, and because the toolchain is incredible, Claude Code can do amazing things, because Claude is obviously the LLM can do better if it's empowered with tools that it can orchestrate, it can use to understand things that it doesn't have to, spend a lot of effort figuring out. So, for example, Rust Analyzer is one of those things that we'll see how to configure. So let's see. So the first step is, okay, so set up Claude Code if you haven't set it up already. So let's look at bootstrap and let's look at run and look at that. Oops, what is this? And look at that. What the heck? 1 second. Let me just get rid of this. Okay, and then let's look at script lib. Okay, so these are okay. So let's see if we can. Okay, so the bootstrap. So when you first get this repo, if you don't have all the required tools, you can just run bootstrap, the shell script, and it will go and install all the things that are missing on Linux and Mac OS. And like, for example, if you already have Rust up, it won't do anything. It won't install Rust up. But if you don't, it'll install Rust up. And then it'll do what else does it do? Oh yeah, and then it installs new shell, so you can run run.nu. That makes sense. And then it runs using new shell. It runs this run.nu script, and it tells it to install all the cargo tools. I bet that's where. Here's install cargo tools, and so like it installs like bacon, cargo workspaces, cargo cache, all this stuff, and more importantly for our purposes today, cargo, Flamegraph, and Inferno. These two are the ones we're going to be really taking a close look at today. And this is basically, I think, what it does. What does it do? Oh yeah, okay. So if it can't find it, it installs it, I think. Yeah, if it can't find it, it installs it. Yep. So it looks for. So it looks for this $tool, and if it can find it, does nothing. If it cannot find it, it installs cargo install $tool. That's what this thing does. And this is that new shell script syntax, essentially, the Python-y Rust or Rusty Python. Okay, and then it installs Rust Analyzer, which is Rust up component. Okay, so Cargo Flamegraph and Cargo Inferno are installed using cargo install. So they're like cargo, so let's see, which, is it cargo? Yep, which cargo dash Flamegraph and which cargo Inferno? No, I don't have Inferno. Let's see, which cargo did not, wait, let's see what else we got. Cargo workspace, unless it's just Inferno. Let's try this. Cargo install Inferno. Oh, where the heck did it install Inferno? Cargo bin. Oh, okay, I see. It's there. It's just like other tools like Inferno Flamegraph or all this other stuff. Okay. So there's no like. Oh, so this command wouldn't work for Inferno. Ha! So this is a bug. Because if you search for which Inferno, it will always come back as nothing, and it will always say cargo install Inferno. Ugh, I see. Anyway, that sucks. So really, it should be looking for. Where was it? Cargo bin Inferno. It should be looking for Inferno dash Flamegraph and so on and so forth. Inferno collapse. I mean, it's not the end of the world. It'll try and reinstall Cargo Inferno every time, but it kind of defeats the whole purpose of install if missing. Maybe that's not such a reliable way of seeing. Let's see. Okay, so here's where we can let's see if this works. So maybe we can AI our way out of this. So let's see if we can do something like this. So we can say something like this. So selection is not a reliable way to check for the existence of these tools. For example, it fails for Inferno since the tools are installed like this. And yeah, I can just copy this, put it in the thing, and then I can say and then I can say, however, it does work for other tools like, what is this, like cargo workspaces? Yeah. Okay, let's see what it says. I think we saw which cargo workspaces that works. It's just cargo-inferno. So maybe I can just do a special one for this. Okay. Cargo internal tools installs multiple binaries with prefixes, so checking Inferno won't find them. So it goes, install if missing function uses which tool. Yeah, we know that. So let me create a more robust tool. Really? Oh, dang. What did it do? Let's see. What happened? What is going on? Okay, so, oh, that's not a bad idea, actually. Okay, so it goes cargo tools, name. Where's Inferno? Name is Inferno. Check for this. Oh, this is great. Okay, this is much better. So, okay, wow. Okay, I'm going to definitely add this to the code base. All right, so this is much better. Okay, perfect. So, so now we can install, for example, cargo install Inferno, cargo install Flamegraph. So, I mean, so it's on your end. If you're doing this, you would just say bootstrap, and once bootstrap runs, it will do everything for you. But what it's doing for you is it's running this install cargo tools, which is getting Flamegraph, and it is getting Inferno. Okay, perfect. Still haven't gotten to Claude Code, which was, I think, the first item on the list. But this is good. This is before Claude Code, I would say. Let's see what, okay. So this is Claude Code. It says optional tools. Install if missing. What? Install if missing Claude. So, okay. So because of this change to install if, no, actually this is still gonna work. Docker go. Okay, so it's checking for which Claude, and if it can't find it, it installs Claude. Okay, so this is not a good way of installing Claude either. Wow. Home, Nosmo, Claude, local Claude. Oh, that's why. So which Claude can't find it? Because which Claude was never going to find it. Huh. Okay, so let's see. Claude AI install shell. So let's look at real quick. Let's bring the browser back. Let's go to code. So this is Claude Code, the official, like, instructions. It goes get started in 30 seconds, Claude Code, Anthropic. So you can do npm install, or I think the other approach which I showed was this one. You can just curl and then pull down this Claude AI install shell script, and it will do this basically. Where does it install it? Let's see, binary path. Oh, okay, so this does a different, you know what? I didn't use this variant. Oh, I must have used like the Node.js. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Binary path, where the heck is this? Oops. Binary path is download directory Claude version platform. Okay. So it goes and gets the binary path. Ooh. So I think what I did was I did npm install. Yep. I think this is the new experimental way of doing it, and this is the old way of doing it using npm. They end up getting like Claude itself is written. It's a npm package that uses something called inc.js under the hood, which is a React renderer for ASCII escape sequences, essentially terminal output. I actually have a whole write-up on it. I used before I built Rebel TUI. I was actually thinking about using Inc, but it just didn't work for. It had a lot of limitations because of Node.js, and that's why I ended up building the Rebel TUI itself in Rust. But so anyway, if you're interested in how Claude itself is put together, there's information on Developer Life about it. Anyway, so this is a conundrum. Okay, we'll just skip it for now, because for most people, I don't think they should be doing this. I think this new approach makes a whole lot of sense. I used this approach because when I installed it, this approach hadn't been, I don't think this was like not there yet, I think, or it was like not recommended. It was like a preview or something, or like the new way to get it going, but it wasn't like, it was like an alpha or something along those lines. But yeah, actually over here it doesn't say anything about using this new one. Why? Okay, standard setup, Windows setup. Oh, global npm installation, yes. Oh, here it is, beta, sorry. Native binaries. If you have existing installation of Claude Code, use Claude install to start the native. Oh, really? Claude. Hello, Claude. Seriously, Claude. I can't spell Claude. Claude. Help. There is no. Oh, install. Install Claude Code native build. Use target to specify version stable latest. Really? Oh. Okay. So I've been using the npm one, but apparently I could just be using the native binary one. So let's see, how do you do this? You say Claude install, what is options? What? Stable latest? Let's go with stable, I'm assuming. The heck does that do? Install Claude Code. Oh, Claude Code native. Oh, really? Okay. So now can I do which Claude? Well, what do you know? Okay, so Claude install stable. If you have the npm, if you're doing the npm route, then you can just, I wouldn't do the npm route. It's too complicated. I would just do this one. This is the only reason I am even showing this npm route, is because this was not there yet when I set this up, or it was there, but I don't know. It was recommended to do it the other way. Okay, so I like this. This is very cool. So where is Claude? Which Claude? Okay, so let's see what the heck is in the local bin Claude. What is that? It's a symbolic link to local share. Okay, so Ranger. Just trying to see what they're doing. Local share Claude versions 1 point whatever the heck. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, it's a binary. Okay, interesting. So it is just a binary. Huh. So let's see, local. Let's see, type. So in the olden days, it was in Claude local. Ay caramba. Oh, they removed it. No. Claude local. There is no. Okay. Yeah, it's gone. So when you do that install thing, it goes away. But I do have another computer as a backup So let's see, Claude. This is what, oh, okay. This is what the actual thing is, that they turn into a blob, basically, it looks like. Yeah, these are the, oh, okay. Interesting. All right, so I guess whichever way you want. After global installation via npm, use Claude migrate install to remove local, blah, 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 update checks, okay. Can I still do Claude update? Oh, right, now my alias one. So if you do the npm install, you have to, I had created an alias. I pretty much broke everything. Okay, so I need to bring the old Claude back. Ay, why did I do this on video? Let's see, where are we? Claude. So I clobbered my, right, what is this? Let's see. I think I clobbered my, where I had installed Claude. But it still has a .claude folder. I don't understand. ID, oh, but a few folders are missing, it looks like. Projects and local. Yeah, local is missing. So maybe local is where the, oh, okay. Local is where the npm, okay. I see. No wonder it's in beta. I see. So I'm, okay, let's see where it put, let's see which Claude. So now in order to run Claude, I have to do home, Nosmol, local, bin, Claude. Okay, that works. Okay, and so when I do cd that, oh, that's the only thing. Home, local, share, Claude versions. Okay, so local, share, Claude. What is going? Okay, I see. There's a bunch of stuff in there. Oh, okay. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I am going to roll it back. Local, share, Claude. I'm going to remove that. Then I'm going to remove local bin. Actually, I don't think local bin has anything except for Claude. So that goes away. And then now I don't have Claude anymore. So I'm just going to bring the old Claude back using copy folders from. These are some scripts that I've made in Fish. I'm going to be transitioning them to Rust and making them part of something called Rebel Commander RC, which is going to be part of the Rebel Commander crate, which is a crate which uses Rebel TUI crate, which is the TUI engine, but the Rebel Commander crate gives you things like Eddy, which is a really amazing markdown editor, Kitty, which is a thing that makes Git workflows more digestible, and RC, which is still under, doesn't even exist yet, but it'll have tools like this. So so basically this grabs everything from my other computer in the, this I gotta get right. This is, what folder is this? Oh, okay, .claude. So this will bring all the .claude folders back, and so I should be able to go to .claude, and voila, there's my, yeah, everything is back. There it is. Okay. Oh, actually, what the heck? What does this do? Local Claude. Okay, exec. Okay, cool. Makes sense. All right, it's just a node by it's a node package for binary. Okay, so the moral of the story is go ahead and do this, and because you won't, if you haven't done this before, this is the way to go. If you have done this before, then just stick with this npm route, where did it go? I swear it was here. Oh, here it is. Yeah. If you have npm installed, do this. If not, then do that beta thing that you saw down there. All right, that's just to get Claude Code. It isn't that difficult. It's just that I did it like 2 different ways that were incompatible. It just so happens. But fortunately, I keep 2 computers around. One is like a clone of the other for exact situations like this. All right, so we can move on to, where were we? Okay, I think okay, so that takes care of installing Claude Code, which is down here. So this will actually work, which Claude, yeah, and because with this method, it's using the beta approach. Actually, you know what? I should probably save a link to this just in case. Yeah, so optional tools, install Claude using this, the beta approach or whatever. Actually, optional tools, really just Claude. This is not in tools. This is install Claude. Okay. And using that, the script rather than npm, using script rather than npm. Okay, great. All right, so let's save that. Excellent. Okay, so this will install Claude, which I already have installed using Node.js. And then what this is saying is that, okay, if you have Claude installed, then you should configure Rust Analyzer and something called context 7. So here's where we finally get into in our issue. We have set up Claude, which we just did. Then there's another one, the setup MCP server and Rust Analyzer. Actually, let's do this one. So we actually did set up Rust Analyzer. Actually, this is set up Rust and cargo tools, inferno, and Flamegraph using bootstrap.sh script. Okay, that's all done. And Rust Analyzer setup. So Rust Analyzer doesn't come with an MCP server. We installed Rust Analyzer using rustup add component or something. It was in that, where is it? It is, yeah, here it is. Rustup component list. Okay, so rustup. Okay, cool. So this one should have Rust Analyzer. Yes, it does. Okay, cool. All right. So you can do rustup component add, I think. Add, you know, like Clippy. You don't need to add Clippy, it comes out of the box. But add Rust Analyzer, and then that'll add it to your cargo toolchain. And if you use something like Helix, then you need to do that, because then you'll get the Rust Analyzer, the LSP server, basically. All right, so we did, okay, so, right, so we got Rust Analyzer installed already. Oh boy. So this is a bit more than like just the default setup typically, because you don't need to install Rust Analyzer and Flamegraph and Inferno out of the box. These are just other tools. Cargo Next Test is a really, really good one. This is like, normally Cargo Test runs all your tests in a single process, and each test is on a separate thread. So if you have shared global mutable state, it can be problematic. But if you use Next Test, you can get away with it, because it spawns each test in a separate process, which is pretty, and it's fast. But it doesn't do doc tests, so. But you can do doc tests with cargo test -- doc. So I don't know. It's up to you. I use it. It's awesome. But then I also know to run here. This is what my workflow looks like. Is I have Bacon running the whole time with Next Test. Then I have another one, another Bacon running for like making sure my documentation is up to date. And once in a while, I'll say cargo test -- doc, and then this will run only the doc tests. That's typically what I have like running all the time on my computer, the primary development machine. Okay, so at a glance, I can see if anything is broken. at least in the tests that are catching the brokenness. Okay, so all right, so coming back to where we were. Oh, right, now we get in the fun stuff, which is the MCP. Now that we have Claude Code sorted, so just to show it's Claude Code work. Yes, Claude is here. Oh, it was an older version. Running from local installation, but config installation is native. Oh boy. What have I done? Local installation not accessible. That's because I nuked it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Conf tilde Claude local Claude. Oh boy. So maybe copy. Okay, so don't do this watching the video. Don't do what I did. This is terrible. I thought I did. Okay, so that brought. Oh, it's still broken. It goes create alias local installation. That's because I nuked the local installation. Migrate installer. Already running from local installation. Okay, what have I done? Huh. Why does it think that I have a local installation, I wonder? Okay. What is happening? Let's see. I think there's a Claude JSON or something. Maybe. Yeah, there's a Claude JSON. Where the heck are you? Claude. Ooh. Does it say here maybe? Okay, so maybe I should do this. All right. So maybe I want to copy from my computer Claude JSON to here. Will that fix it? Nope. Local installation not accessible. Fix create alias. Claude local. Oh, local. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just like randomly deleting folders. I didn't intend this to become like a comedy of sorts. Let's see. Claude. Okay, that works. Yeah, but that always worked. Okay, which Claude? No. Okay, so Claude update. Local not accessible. I have an alias. Type Claude, and it does home Osmo Claude, local Claude. I think I misunderstood this. Pretty sure it's looking for. See, I run fish. So I bet if I run bash, I don't think I have Claude, do I? Nope. So what it's saying is that, I see what it's saying. I misunderstood the error message. It's saying that it's correctly pointing out that Claude, local Claude, which is .Claude, local Claude. Oops, that's, my goodness, that's the, there it is. Let me just show this. Okay. So it's saying that in the .Claude folder in my home directory, there's a local directory where the package, the Claude CLI package is installed, and it's saying that, hey, nobody can access this, which is correct because it's not in my path. So if I do Claude, it's not there, which is correct. So it's just pointing out, it's being smart. But you know, I obviously was able to run it. So anyway, and the reason I was able to run it is because I have an alias already defined for it in fish, but I'm pretty sure it didn't check for it in fish. It's checking for bash because most people don't assume you're using anything other than bash, which just makes sense. Most people don't. So except for people who use fish. Anyway, or new shell or something else. All right, so okay, so it was working the whole time. Yeah, it works. There you go. So we have Claude up and running, but that was a completely unnecessary deep dive into the 2 different ways to install Claude. So in case anybody was wondering, now you know. Nobody in the audience says they were wondering. Okay, now I know. All right, so with that we are done with the Claude code properly, and yeah, so it's working. This is just saying the obvious. Yes, that is correct, because looks like a warning, but actually it's not. I confused that to mean that it was using the shell script binary that it installed, which is that's not what it's saying. So now that we have Claude running, we have to inform Claude about Rust Analyzer, but we can't do that directly. In order to inform Claude, because I can't just tell Claude, hey Claude, there's Rust Analyzer. Rust Analyzer also at this point in time does not come out of an MCP server pre-built, but I would not be surprised if that's the case in the future, in which case you would just be able to tell Claude there's a Rust Analyzer, the MCP server for it. So what we have to do is we have to install a bridge called the MCP. It's a tool called MCP server. It's written in Go, and let's see, where is it? Yeah, there it is, MCP language server. Where the heck is it? So this is pretty cool. This actually will install Go, and then it will install the MCP server language. So the MCP server language program, I guess. So it's this one. So let's bring back our browser again one more time. So here we have, the heck? Oh, that's not a thing, right? So this is actually the MCP server program. I should probably make a note of it here. So I see this is install other tools, and this is install Claude using script rather than npm, and this one is install Go and MCP server language. There you go. This is what this is happening here. Okay, so that's Claude, and then this is Go, and this is configure Claude with MCP language. Oh my goodness, language server to use Rust Analyzer if available. That is quite a bit of tinkering. Good news is it's on a script. You can just run it, or just copy this and run it. It's not a problem. Okay, so this MCP language server, which is written in Go, will allow Rust Analyzer to be accessed by Claude. So we'll tell Claude to launch this thing. We'll tell this thing to launch Rust Analyzer. And then when you launch Claude, it will bring up all these MCP server. It'll bring up this MCP language server thing, which will then bring up Rust Analyzer. Now I'll show you the process and everything. So, okay, so let's see. Do we have Go? Yes, because I ran this script. That's why. And then do we have? I'm sure there's a way to ask Go. Let's see how to ask Go whether MCP language server is installed. Hopefully it won't change the script, because that's not what I'm asking. Okay. Check binaries. Oh, Go list. That's cool. Let's see. Oh, cool. Go list, whatever the heck. Not installed? What? I don't know anything about Go. I don't think it, what? Why is this not running Go? Env home. What the heck is going on? Which okay, which command is the most reliable? So there's Go list. Is there a Go? Yes. So that go list thing doesn't do anything. Build, install, list packages or modules. Looks like it should work. Let's see, maybe just paste that. Nope. Go help modules. I don't know anything about Go, so maybe I shouldn't be spending all this time with Go. Modules are how Go manages dependencies. Okay, whatever. I don't know. Honestly, let's see. Option 1, current approach, checking if the file path. Okay. Option 2, using which command, checks path. Okay. More robust, checks both existence and path. So does go install work? That probably works. Okay, so MCP language server. What? Ah, yes, because it's in home go bin, which is not in my path. That's why which can't find it. Oh boy. So if I go to home, go bin, this is where all the go binaries are. There it is. I see. That's what the script is saying. Okay, so which go is fine, but actually this is correct. This will look in the correct folder. Actually, this script is correct. You know what? What happened? Where did the script go? That was weird. Ugh. What is this? What did I change? The heck? We were... Okay. I don't think there's any changes here. Okay, so... Yeah, I think this is the correct thing. It installs... If Go should be... Wait. Yeah, Go itself should be in the path, because... Wait a minute. But this doesn't install... Ah, I missed this. Ay. This is terrible. Okay, so install Go and Docker. Not already installed. All right. So this is the problem. So Go had already been installed by using a command called golang go. That's a thing. I don't think so. What the heck does it do? Package manager. Golang go. Oh, what do you know? Okay, so it installed Golang Go using, in my case, on Ubuntu apt. And then, because Golang was available, it was able to check to see, is the MCP server installed in the Go bin folder? And if it isn't, it will go and install it. So this script is correct. You know what? It's my understanding of the script that was lacking. All right, so we're finally at the point where we're about to configure this pipeline so that Claude can access Rust Analyzer. You might be asking why. Well, it doesn't need to really. It can just LLM its way through it, because Rust is a language that knows how to read Rust. But if you have Rust Analyzer, you can bias Claude to use Rust Analyzer, and tends to be faster. So for example, renaming symbols way faster with Rust Analyzer than having Claude actually go through every file and search, using bash and grep and all the other tools it has access to, Linux or Unix POSIX tools, Linux tools, Unix tools, and then things like diagnostics, so it can understand stuff better. If you say like trait, I mean it'll understand it anyway, but you can just add a little bit more specificity with Rust Analyzer. It makes the experience a little bit better. And then in this video, I will show how to configure a custom command for Claude to use Rust Analyzer specifically. Okay, so this MCP language server, like it says here, is an MCP server that runs and exposes the language server to LLMs. It's not a language server for MCP, whatever that would be. Makes sense. Exactly. So this is funny. So here, when we run Claude, actually, okay, so let's set up Claude so that we can, let's see, where the heck is it? Claude JSON, and I think it is MCP servers. Yes, okay. So this chunk right here is what this script is going to tell you to add. Goes essentially, it'll configure your Claude code that you've installed at this point using this script, not the npm way that I did and ran around in circles between these two, bouncing back and forth for a bit. So this one will, if Claude is there, then it will tell Claude to use the Golang MCP server, MCP language server, and then this stuff here, this one-liner, is actually going to add like this. And what is this? It creates an entry called Rust Analyzer. That's the MCP server. We're calling it Rust Analyzer, just to be simple. It's communicating through standard in and standard out, so just normal process stuff. This is the command that it's going to launch, this one. So this actually, we can see what it does here. So you can do -- help, and look, there's stuff, and I have run it before, I think, with, where the heck is it? MCP language server -workspace, I think. Yeah. Okay, so this thing, it's a binary. You can run it, and then you can say --workspace --lsb Rust Analyzer. It has to be bound to a workspace. So here I have bound it to my workspace, but you can bind it to whatever workspace you want. And so then it just basically passes this MCP language server --workspace, and then --lsb Rust Analyzer. So this --workspace is like dot here because I'm in this folder, but whatever. So believe it or not, if I run, if I run this, yeah, so it spawns the MCP server. Look at that. But it's running in this terminal. It's using, so if I hit Control-C, it'll terminate the MCP server process. And you have to have the CWD field. The current working directory, I couldn't get it working without this key value pair. So with that, that'll set up your MCP server process, which is from Go, which will then act as a bridge between Claude and Rust Analyzer, which you installed using RustUp. Whew. And the process, the pipeline, if you want to think about it, lifecycle is that you bring up Claude. Claude will bring up all the MCP servers. In this case, it'll bring up the Rust Analyzer MCP server, which is a local process. So it will go and spawn this process, and to this process, it will pass these arguments, and these arguments will end up then spawning the Rust Analyzer process inside of this process as a child process. So that's what this does. Because it is an LSP server, so it's a generic MCP server interface for any LSP server. It's a lot of words. So I made a handy dandy tool, I think. Let's see, watch. Yeah. So I made this really simple tool called, I'll show you how this works in a minute. But so if I run like, let's say Claude, and then I see MCP. Why is even though I have MCP servers listed here. Huh? Okay, so that's weird. Claude MCP list. No MCP servers configured. What? That's weird. That is unexpected. So it's going currently using npm local, path is user bin node, config install method local, auto updates true. So if I do MCP, that's weird. No MCP servers, but there are MCP servers. For some reason, when I did that strange install, reinstall, whatever the heck I did, I think I must have broken something. Let me see, Claude MCP list. Okay, sorry, my bad. So the MCP servers are configured on a folder basis, per folder basis, which is why it makes sense why you would, let me go back. So if you noticed, the MCP server's configuration was inside of this folder, project folder. It's kind of like VSCode where a folder is considered a project. And it goes, if you're in the home, in my case, GitHub Rebel Open Core folder, it goes, all right, I will understand that to be the project, and for that project, these are all the prompts and stuff that you have typed. Oh my goodness, that's a lot. And then, by the way, this is where you can find your old prompts that you've typed, in case you're like, where do I find the old prompts that I've typed? And they're scoped by project folder, right? So here you can see the MCP server key, and here is the Rust analyzer key, and this is the context 7. I don't really use context 7 much. I don't know. I try to use it, but it's supposed to make it documentation for anything easier to access through for LLMs, faster than web searches and all that kind of stuff. So if you're looking up the documentations on docs.rs or whatever, supposedly you can do it better. But then you have to tell the Claude Code to use context 7. It's such a strange name. It's just difficult to type. Anyway. All right, so there you go. So it worked, but you just have to be in the correct folder. And I don't know if you noticed, but here, let's kill this. There's actually a bunch of these running. So you can say MCP. I can just see, what is this? Oh, so there's already an MCP server running. Why? Let me just go to VSCode. Well, that. I'm trying to think who is running this MCP server. I have a MCP server that's just running. Let's kill it. Okay. So something weird happened. Okay, so let's do this. Claude MCP list. Oh, so when I did Claude MCP list, it spawned this Rust analyzer through the Golang MCP Lang server, and it didn't kill it. It's still running. What? Uh-oh. Methinks this is a bug. No? It's gotta be a bug. No, it's not a bug. What the hell? I don't know. whatever. It's not killing all of them, just one of them. Because if I keep doing this, let's see, Claude MCP list. Okay, that spawned another one. Spawn another one. Spawn another, but it's killing them. See, they go away, except for the one that doesn't go away. Oh, now there's two. Ah, it's definitely leaking it. All right, there's a bug. I should really report this as a bug. Can you do this? Is that a thing? How do you submit a bug? Maybe like this. Let's say in a project folder, and I run Claude MCP list, it will spin up any local MCP server processes I have configured for this folder in my Claude JSON, which is right, which is the desired behavior. However, when this command exits, it does not seem to cleanly kill all these spawned child processes running the configured MCP servers. If I run this command repeatedly, then there are quite a few MCP spawned child processes that are left that are just abandoned. That's it. That should be it. Sure, yeah, whatever. Yeah, okay, cool, awesome. No, I don't want to get up. Okay, so now if I say MCP, okay, cool. So it's configured, but yeah, there's too many of them. So it's this, Claude Code. It's not production. I mean, it is production. It's early. It's beta, or whatever. I don't know. Before beta. I'm glad that they released it. I am grateful. But it's got a lot of whatever. It's still new. Like, for example, it uses ink, and ink, as we'll see, the prompt editor is primitive and janky, to say the least. And I can see it more because I make Rebel TUI, so I'm literally in the business of making TUIs seamless and beautiful and all that. And it's just like, oh, every time. But Opus and Sonnet are amazing, so whatever. Hopefully Anthropic will use Rebel TUI. That would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing. Okay. Where are we? Okay, through that, I was not expecting this to be such a journey into Claude, but I'm glad it is. This is good. Claude, I learned something, a lot of things apparently in this journey, so that's good. Hopefully you're learning some of this and you won't get stuck in some of these weird places, and if you do, you'll know what to do. Okay, so if we do Claude MCP, let's not do MCP list because we know that this command, oh, by the way, what is this watch, whatever the heck it is? It just, it's unnecessarily complicated thing that I made, a fish script, but it basically just looks for MCP language servers that are running, and it interprets the output in a human readable way. That's all. It's basically just says, oh, look, there's no MCP servers running. Now I spawn Claude, and boom, there it is. There's PID, CPU, RAM, blah, blah. State is sleeping, multi-threaded, foreground group, all this kind of stuff. So now I can say, I'm getting ahead of myself because these are called Claude commands, which I will show you how to configure after. So, all right, that's good enough for now. Okay, whew. And also if you have any questions about any of this, the comment, this GitHub issue comment thing is a good place to leave them. guess what? We just set up the MCP server and Golang and everything, and we have configured all of this. Done. You can also configure VS Code to use this if you desire, because notice I have Copilot, and I am telling Copilot to use Claude, obviously the Claude Sonnet, and so I can tell this thing to also have the Copilot window, tool, chat window, whatever you want to call it, panel. I can have it use MCP tools as well, which is pretty slick. Let's see, how do I do that though? Rest analyzer. I had it saved somewhere. I don't remember where I put it. Ugh. 1 second. Where the heck is this? Nope. MCP. Nope. All right, let's do this. I have it configured, but where? Oh, Rebel Open Core VSCode MCP JSON. Ugh. Okay. So a lot of these MCP tools seem to be pegged or pinned to a project directory, which makes sense because you might want to have different MCP servers based on the directory. So in this one I have, this is the Rebel Open Core. You can git clone this. This is what you'll get. Inside that you'll have you'll see a VS Code, and inside that you'll see an MCP JSON. So this is how you configure it in VS Code. It's different, obviously. Of course it's different. It's made by different people, different teams. It's not one company. And MCP is new. Anthropic just invented it. So here we go. Settings, MCP launch. So let's look at what the heck is going on here. So we have settings, whatever. That's just our settings. Extensions. These are where all the extensions are listed. Oh, by the way, if you're a VS Code user, I just made a new theme called Rebel Theme. So if you want to get this beautiful Markdown and Rust optimized theme, it works with Rust Analyzer. So it'll do syntax highlighting in a really cool way. Actually, let's see, where's that formatter? Yeah, like it does above and beyond like syntax highlighting for things that out of the box you don't get with the normal themes. But you have to have Rust Analyzer installed, which if you're using Rust, of course you do. So yeah, I don't know. It's right. Yeah, you can get it from. I didn't publish it. It's in the. What the heck is it? It's here somewhere. Rebel.org. There it is. VS Code extensions. Planning to add a bunch more VS extensions, especially for Markdown. But yeah, you can get the Rebel theme from here. So whatever. If you like this theme and you're wondering where you get it. Also, if you're wondering what the heck this terminal emulator is, it's Westterm. Westterm is awesome. It's written in Rust. Pretty much use it all the time. It's not that stable, but it's so pretty. It's totally worth it. I mean, for me anyway. Okay, so there you go. There's the MCP server equivalent for VS Code. You can just copy and paste this, or VS Code makes it very easy. You can just do this. You can say MCP, list servers. That's what we saw, and you can start it, stop it. You can show the configuration. Lo and behold, look, it showed you there, and you can. So if you start it, I mean, this is. So remember that watch command to watch all the running MCP servers. So if you start this, look at that, PID, CPU, state, whatever. So if we run. Now if we run Claude, right, you'll see another one. Boom. So because of, and by the way, you can run as many Claudes as you want, right? So you can do, I should say you can run as many Claudes as you need. Let's see, Claude, so we can do Claude MCP list, I think. Wait, what's going on now? That was Bizarro Land. Why is... Okay. I can't explain why in that other terminal I spawned. Okay, now it seems to, nope, there we go, it's leaking. All right, so if I run Claude, we'll have like 4 of them, whatever. So just be careful that you don't have a bunch of these zombie MCP servers. You can always do this and kill them. All right, so I'm gonna quit VSCode, but VSCode makes it super easy to manage these MCP servers, as you saw. So I don't have any running. If you're wondering why I made that little fish command, it's because I don't know, when I was configuring all this to figure it out, I was just like, what the heck is going on with all these MCP servers? Okay, so we did it. So now Copilot can use Rust Analyzer. So you can just, and I'll show you how to use all this in just a minute. So now that we've kind of seeded everything and configured everything, the next step is, okay, how do you use all this? Like, what is the point of all of this? There is a point. And so actually I showed all this. Bootstrap, install cargo tools. We did not run this and we did not review this. Okay, so these two will be next, and then I will actually show how we use this. So the next thing is we're gonna now take a step. Actually, let's do this. So this one was, we did all this actually up here, and that is redundant, it looks like. Yes, because that's basically what that was. And this is later, so now then show how to use Claude with the custom commands. So like /rust and then /ra, whatever, bunch of these, I think. Yeah, and then this is commands in Claude, and actually, well, this is. And then I'll also show how to use custom Rust Analyzer with Copilot and Sonnet, let's say, whatever, something like that. Okay, so we're gonna get in, and then after that, we'll actually do a real world example of like, okay, I'm gonna take a piece of code, we're gonna analyze it using the Flamegraph profiling, and then we're gonna have Claude understand it and give us results, and also do some diagnostics with Rust Analyzer and stuff, because we spent all this time setting up these MCP tools. Like, why? So we can take a look at some of those use cases. So yeah, so the next step is we're going to do how to configure custom commands. Yeah. Okay, now that we have Claude Code configured, we haven't actually started using it yet, but I wanted to show how to use custom commands to actually make this happen. So let's try this. So let me close some of these actually. Okay, so close this. Okay, so there's such a thing called a Claude MD file, and these are essentially when you start up Claude for that particular session, it'll just look at look for Claude MD files in your current directory or in its parent directory or whatever. And so it's a way to essentially configure Claude with some information that will be loaded every single time you spawn Claude. So if I say Claude and run it, then it will load whatever is in this Claude MD file, because it is in the current directory where I'm launching it. And so if you look at it, it has some basic information, like it's telling Claude that, well, we have Rust Analyzer, IDE, and Context 7 tools, and like a bunch of other stuff, like to use cargo Flamegraph and things like that. So it's kind of making Claude aware of some general information about this particular project. But let's say I have something more Rust specific where I don't want to necessarily load that every single time, but let's say for specifically for Rust development, let's say if I want to do something like this, where I want to say tell Claude to use Rust Analyzer for understanding and modifying code, use IDE tools if, let's say, VS Code or JetBrains or whatever is connected, because you can connect IDEs to your Claude Code, and the context 7. So these are the sort of the more detailed information that you can give Claude, and I put that behind in a Markdown file in a custom command. So like whatever you name this, you can just invoke it using / and then the name of the file. So for example, if I want to use Rust Analyzer to rename a symbol, then this is the custom command for that. So it's essentially, I can just say /RA_REN Rust Analyzer rename, and I'll expand it with this and then whatever arguments I give at the end of it. So let's give it a look. Like so if you run Claude, I'm not connected to an IDE right now. Oops, let's do this again. So if you run Claude, I am not connected to IDE. We can also ask Claude, what MCP tools we got running. So we got Rust Analyzer. We can see the tools. So notice this is where I can like actually introspect the tools and get an idea of like, okay, what are some of these names? So that's how I got like MCP __ all these things. You can even ask Claude like to enumerate all the tools that are available. So yeah, that's essentially how I populated some of these custom commands. So if we run like, for example, /rust, see, Rust development expert, blah blah blah. So that's whatever I put in here. It uses a description. And then, so if I do this, then it'll essentially, it's as if you copied and pasted this and hit enter. That's essentially what happens. So nothing that interesting, just a way to kind of seed Claude to use these tools. So now I can say something like, let's say I want to get some diagnostics on this one, custom event formatter. Why not? So let's say we have, where is it? Let's say we have a symbol like this, field content parameters. I can say something like Rust Analyzer, and then I can get like, not definition. Yeah, let's do definition, why not? And then, oops. So I have to give it like the symbol to get the definition for. So if you don't give it that, it'll tell you like, how to use it. Oh, so for some reason the Rust Analyzer MCP tool is not working. So what is going on? Okay, let's do this. Sometimes this does happen. Again, this is not like super stable. This is really early days. Let's see if we have any MCP servers running. No, we don't. So that should have worked. So like that should work, but it didn't. So anyway, failed to fetch symbol for this. So what if we do for this, let's see, maybe, what else can we do? Rust Analyzer, diagnostics maybe? No, hover, rename. Let's see, diagnostics for this file, if it does anything. Let's see. Nope, so for whatever reason, this is like not working at all right now. That's very strange. Well, let's see, it's because it's defaulting to the bash tool, so that was kind of pointless to see it working here. It works sometimes. I don't know why it's not working right now. Like I've had it work before. Yeah. So let's see, hover. That's strange. What the MCP language server? Interesting. Yeah, it's running, but not working. Okay. So Interesting. Rust analyzer. Let's do reconnect. Okay, so we restarted it. Now will it work? And if not, then we'll move on past this. Okay, it's still not working. So the interesting thing is with Copilot, it actually gets better results. So you can say use Rust analyze. Actually, you have to start. If we're doing this with Copilot, we have to like manually start the server. So I can say start server for Rust analyzer. I can say start server, and then here I can say use Rust analyzer to get the what to say to get the, what were the commands we have, like definition, yeah. So for definition for this thing. So this, let's see if it will use the Rust analyzer tool. Oh yeah, okay, this one worked. Nope, it didn't work. It's still getting an error. Ran definition. Interesting. I don't know why it's not working anymore. It was working before. Very, very strange. So we killed the MCP language server. Okay, so that had an impact. So let's do MCP server. Okay, so we just killed it. That makes sense. So we start the server. Let's see. So we got one MCP server running. Let's see if we can get one running here. MCP. And I won't belabor this too much. It's, let's see, reconnect. Okay, so they're both running. Can you use Rust analyzer tool? So we can ask it actually. So here, this one wasn't able to use the MCPs. As you can see, like it didn't work. So let me ask it again. Anyway, if it doesn't work, we can just move on. Yeah, say yes, I can use Rust analyzer tools, blah blah blah. So okay, would you like me to help you with? Sure. So use. We can say use. Find symbol definitions to get information about this thing. Let's see if that works, and let's see if this one worked in Copilot. Okay, now it's working. So that worked. Ran because it uses the Rust analyzer tool. To get the, it even tells you what the input and the output is. This is the input, the symbol name, and so on, because it'll tell you what all the arguments it expects, and then it'll give you, like, you know, what information it got back, and then now it's rendering it real nicely in the code. So that worked. That was great. Let's see if we can say the same about Claude, and no, it's refusing to work. That's okay. So much for that. It happens. What can you do? So, okay, let me just quit this and restart it, because I don't want any MCP servers running, and let's kill this one as well. Okay, it's not the end of the world. I mean, it's fine. Like, sometimes it works. I'm sure it'll improve over time, but the important thing is I just wanted to show how to use it. That's all. And there might be other tools which you find you know, more useful than this. So that was Claude Code and that thing. So now we're actually going to get into the you know, the why we are here, which is the Flamegraph, using the Flamegraph tools to actually profile code. So this is actually the function that we will be using. So this is the run example with Flamegraph profiling that we're going to be basically using. And what it does is it puts the, let me show you cargo toml. Let's see. So let's look at cargo toml first, because they kind of go hand in hand. So this is in the cargo toml for my root, the workspace. I've specified a bunch of profile configuration parameters for cargo, so that when cargo builds it in release, it will actually put all this other stuff in there to aid the profiling efforts. And like, you know, you can do stuff like this to understand what all these mean. So you can just, you know, go into your Copilot or whatever and just say, you know, what do these do? And it'll explain it to you, which is, you know, feel free to do some exploration there. So yeah, it'll say, you know, blah, 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 profile configuration breakdown. But the important thing is this profile is referenced in here, profiling detailed. So here in this command to actually select cargo build -- profile profiling detailed. So what ends up happening is when this command is run, and I'll show you this command running in just a moment. Actually, let me do this. So actually, let me take one step back and kind of walk through this slowly. So this particular command, there's a new shell script at the root level of the project, which allows you to do all kinds of things like build, clean, test, and all that kind of stuff. One of the commands is run examples flamegraph fold. That's this thing. And what that does is that you pick an example that you want to profile in the examples that are provided with this Rebel TUI crate. And it will set up the kernel a certain way to collect all kinds of stats. It will build your binary using this profile. And then, see that's building it using the profile. And then it will directly run the binary using perf. So this is happening on Linux. And it will dump this data to perf data, and then it will use another tool called inferno collapse perf to make a smaller version of that file, which is easier for Claude to digest. Claude has a context limit actually for 25K for files. So if you have a file bigger than 25K, it needs to read it in chunks. So if you can keep it at 25K or below, it's actually really it can analyze it very quickly. So then what this does is that there's two ways. You can either generate an SVG output, which is, you know, human readable, and you can look at it in your browser. But if you then ask Claude to analyze it, it'll do it. It's just that these SVGs tend to be larger than the folded format. So this folded format is really machine optimized. You know, it doesn't have any visual aspect whatsoever. But yeah, Claude Code can analyze them both. But this one is what I recommend for, because it's smaller, and you can also commit these to your oh, why is this? You can also commit this to your GitHub. So you can you can keep a historical record of this, you know, as you know, the performance measurements over time as you make changes to your code base, which is pretty cool. So let's do this. So here we have, I'm going to show you this in action. And so in order to show you this in action, let me just do this, run.nu log. So just, and then what this does is it just monitors the whatever log file there is, and it will just show you the output. So now you can say, what was that command? It was, yeah, this one. So you can say run.nu, and then you can say like that, right? So this will actually, so it's saying, okay, what example do you want to run? I'm going to pick the TUI ones, and then it's saying, okay, go ahead. So I'm going to run the editor. The inception of all of this is that recently I rewrote the backend for this editor component. I was using a vec of strings to represent this, you know, list of lines, which is terrible. And markdown parsing was difficult because this basically vec of strings, which is slow for memory latency perspective because you have to jump. Like basically, in order to read each line, you have to look up the main vec, and then you have to say, okay, get me the, because it's a vec of string, so you say, okay, get me the, let's say the first item in that vec, and then that's line 1, let's say, and then, or line 2, and then for that line, if you want to access it, now you have to jump to memory and grab that line, and you have to repeat it for every single line. So I replaced it with a linear array, a gap buffer, and it's so much faster. Like the access and parsing times went down from tens of thousands of milliseconds for a 100K document to a matter of a few nanoseconds, which is pretty amazing. Sorry, a few tens of thousands of nanoseconds to a few nanoseconds. And this tool that I'm using, the Flamegraph, these are kind of like things I use to measure, to figure out where the hotspots were. Like my intuition not really that interesting. So like, for example, we have like, modal dialogues, we have autocomplete dialogues, like, each one of these has its own like path where, it ends up like, taking more CPU resources or whatever. So now let me show you. This is the Sublime merge, but you can see like this perf-folded file got updated. So as you can see, this is the, what's in it. And this is what used to be in it. So that's what I was talking about, keeping history of the stuff. So that's pretty handy. So you have a historical record of like, did your changes actually work? Which is kind of important. So now that we've generated this flame graph, let me just show you how to use it. So here you can pull up Claude, and this has nothing to do with MCP server tools or anything. This is just straight up like I'm gonna ask Claude to analyze the perf-folded flame graph data and give me a report on what needs optimizing, something along those lines. I don't know the wording. As long as they analyze flame graph report, it'll figure it out. So this is it analyzing, the data, trying to extract information about where the hotspots are, because there's a bunch of information in this particular data about which functions are taking what time, and the how fine-grained this stuff is. Again, that's why we needed the kernel, tweaking the kernel parameters so that we, this perf tool can give us more information, and then this one too, like we use this. So it's like a balance. Like you can sample too quickly, and then you end up with files that are like we're sampling at like 99 hertz. The more you sample, the bigger the output file, and that's not great because now it takes more time to analyze, and you're not necessarily getting more information that's actionable. So it's a balance. Anyway, so this is the kind of balance I came up with for this particular project. So, okay, so there you go. So here's the report. It goes flame graph performance analysis report. So and it already like outlined it stack ranked. It goes, okay, memory allocation is an issue caused by text wrap, and also text wrap is used in this custom event formatter. So if I go here, so if I wanted to, like, okay, what do I need to do to make this go faster? I have to like think about it. And I was like, okay, is this actually stopping the user from doing anything? Do I need to do this? And then if I do need to do this, then I can use this flame graph report to be like, oh, okay, this is where I need to focus my efforts, and then how, right? So it's saying that in this file location, this custom event formatter, we use text wrap, and it's using dynamic string allocation. So the reason it's doing this is because even when I'm running these examples in release mode, I do not disable logging. You can pass a flag to disable logging, but so even if it's running release mode, I am actually dumping this log output. And as you can see, this log output is very pretty, and the downside is that to basically generate this on every iteration of the render, every tick of the render loop, at every render, for every tick of the main event loop, this is a very, very, very hot path. So anything that can be done to optimize this will end up improving the UX response, latency and responsiveness. I've actually gotten it down to a pretty low number, but text wrap is something I'm going to address next. But again, in the real world, you would probably just disable logging, and then those other things that Claude is reporting, are more relevant. But anyway, I just wanted to show, like, we can make a change here. We can run the this run examples flame graph fold again. It'll regenerate this perf-folded, and then we'll know, like, actually this perf-folded thing, and then we'll know, like, what happened, what is the impact of making this change, and then we can iterate, make it better, make it worse if we're going the wrong direction. But yeah, it's a really good way to sort of understand like where effort should be put. And I know I spent a lot of the video just configuring Claude, and unfortunately this time around the Rust analyzer integration didn't work so well. But you know, this is early days. All of this is early days. But yeah, it works. It works in Copilot better than it does in Claude Code, and I'm still using Claude Sonnet in Copilot. So yeah. Anyway, so I think then we can do this. Check this off. That's done. That's done. I know I kind of went really fast through this, but yeah, just play around with it, and it's really powerful. Like I can show you some of the yeah, I used this methodology over the last couple of weeks, and I have already published this as a release. But so what I was doing is, as I had mentioned earlier, internally in this editor. So if I can show you, so you can use Eddy. Eddy is the editor, this thing. Or you know, for the purpose, oops, no thanks. For the purposes of, let's see, not Flamegraph, just do examples, run examples, yeah, okay. So I run the examples, I get a, so there's the editor component, right? This thing, internally, in memory, it was using a two-dimensional array, a vec of strings, which is basically a vec of stir chars. And there's all kinds of things with Unicode processing, like this whole system is Unicode aware, so there's a lot of work that goes into making sure like emoji are supported, as you can see here. And I mean, emoji are literally supported everywhere. There's nowhere that emoji is not supported. And then so using this methodology is able to identify that one of the main problems I had was that I'm using a nom. Like this is a markdown document that's syntax highlighted, and I have my own syntax highlighter, and I have my own basically a parser, and that's doing all this stuff, right? So so in order to do the syntax highlighting, I have to parse the markdown into the equivalent of a DOM, some abstract syntax tree, and then that takes. In order for nom to do it, it's nom is 0 copies. So the data it expects has to be contiguous. And so because I was breaking each line into a separate vec, it wasn't contiguous. So in order to process it with nom, I had to then reconstitute the non-contiguous chunks of lines into one big one, which that materialization costs were there. It wasn't that much. I mean, it was for 100K. It was like. And I have benchmarks for this, by the way. That's, if you look through the code base, it's in there in the docs directory. And it was like, I don't know, 10,000 nanoseconds or 6,000, something along this, some order of thousands of nanoseconds to materialize like about 100K to go from vec of strings to one, big string. So by using a gap buffer, which is just a linear array, and by pre-allocating each line to some fixed size, it's not fixed, but to some initial size, it ends up like making access practically 0 cost, and parsing is now in the order of nanoseconds. I mean, it's ridiculous how much faster it is. So that bottleneck just completely went away. And so as you can see, it says in here that 0 copy access ended up giving like 50-90x faster performance for modifications for other things where you're not modifying the editor. It was blazingly fast. And there's a whole bunch of other work that went in there. But to kind of summarize, this isn't like random claims. Like the perf-folded is in the Git repo, and you can just take it, go to an older commit before this one, and then ask Claude to analyze it. Look at it yourself, and you'll see like where the hotspots are, and then post certain changes. You can just do, check out a newer commit, and then you can see what the performance is then by simply analyzing. And you can actually extract these into reports, which is what I do. So again, if you go to the docs folder, let me show you this. So in the docs folder, I have like a whole bunch of stuff. So for example, here, in the docs folder, go to done, and you'll see like all the, like for example, the 0 copy gap buffer, like, all the work that went into that is all listed in here, along with like, benchmarks. Benchmarks are good to do before making changes, and then just to kind of get a baseline for what the performance is. But These hotspots, especially Flamegraph for CPU utilization, is pretty awesome. It's worked pretty well so far. And yeah, so these are just kind of like some insight into using Claude Code. And yeah, let me know if you like this video. If you want me to do more Claude Code videos, like I have like a whole workflow on how to do design documents and iterate through them to get Claude to like stay on task and not like, you know, go too far off the reservation, so to speak. It's complicated. It's like you almost have to like visualize this thing in your own mind first, and then iterate with Claude to kind of get closer and closer. But you have to know roughly where you're headed, otherwise, it's a probabilistic system, so things can end up anywhere. So if you are interested in videos like that, let me know. Leave a comment in this issue, and then I'll do more videos. If not, if you like the style of this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you please subscribe, and then you'll be notified when we have more videos coming out. And thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.